Hare Krishna, I think we got disconnected. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, I think we got
Hare Krishna.
disconnected. I think Mataji soon. You can send her a message to join
Send
in.
her a message, please. Yes, yes.
You have sent her a message?
No, you send her, please.
Okay.
I think she's trying to join. She's trying to
Okay.
join. She's here. She's here.
Yeah, I
Hare
don't know what.
Krishna, Mataji, sorry, we got disconnected, but we are back online. Sorry about
Okay,
that. So we
is it
didn't hear
my
anything you
is
said.
it my issue or it's on your
No,
end?
it was
I
my
don't know.
issue. I'm having issues with the
Oh.
internet today, so it is my issue.
Okay, okay.
Sorry,
As long as yeah, that's okay. But yeah, I just wanted to know if it was on my end. No problem, Mataji. Yes. So that's the theme, and then after that, what happens is he answers to this question, Yad Shrishtam, that is the creation of the universe, which is what is described from verses 21 to 35 of last chapter. So I don't know if you all had understood what was the intent of that creation process, but basically we will definitely talk about some of the aspects of the creation today in today's class, and then I'll also try to cover 2.6 today's verse. I would like to do it continuously, so if you think it's a repetition, kindly let me know. We can just go the verse that we have for today also, if you feel it's repetitive. But again, we need to hear repetitively the same message of Bhagavatam over and over, because in each class, what happens is there is an addition that takes place. And one point, if you learn also, that might just be stuck to your heart, which we keep it forever. So the creation of universe is what is the topic after discussing about Jiva Tattva and Vishnu Tattva. He brings up this point of Yad Shrishtam, that is the creation of universe, where he talks about Karana Shrishti in the verses 21 to 35, dear devotees. So we will try to briefly understand the import of those, and then we will also try to get into Karya Shrishti if time permits. But basically, when why Brahmaji is answering, or why Brahmaji is talking about creation of universe, is because Narada Muni brought up this question of, can you please enlighten me about the creation of universe? And that is why he is talking about Karya Shrishti. Okay. So now we will try to see what that means, and then we will also understand some of the nuances to the process of creation, dear devotees. Just give me a minute. I'll open Prabhupada's. Just a minute, please bear with me. So now, as you all understand, the 6 questions that were posed, and Brahmaji also, Narada Muni also says, you have the independent, powerful nature, and this is what is my observation. I am forced to conclude that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but sometimes I'm seeing you are performing some intense austerities. If you are the Supreme Lord, then why should you be performing the austerities? Kindly clarify my doubts. And Brahmaji says, actually, you're very merciful upon me, and your question is very valid. In response to your question, I'm inspired to meditate upon the prowess of my Supreme Lord. Actually, what you're saying is not true, because people who are ignorant, they are ignorant of the fact of the understanding about me and the Supreme Lord, and they just speak like how you are speaking. Okay, but certainly God is omniscient, and I do understand where you're coming from. I'm going to definitely help you clarify all your doubts. Actually, look at the power of Krishna. In front of Krishna, the material Maya, in front of Krishna, even material Maya hides in, she show ashamed to do service in front of Krishna, and so she goes to the back and performs a service. So people who are influenced by Maya can speak anything nonsense. They boast around saying, yes, they do everything, and they completely, they are consumed by the aspect of false ego. And now, answering to your first question, the universe, what are the characteristics of the universe? The universe, if you look at it, it is characterized by 5 elements: Dravya, Karma, Kala, Swabhava, and Jiva. And understand that all these are non-different from Vasudeva. In the sense, they are all energies of Vasudeva. And about the shelter, he says, you see in this world, which is worthy of taking shelter, understand, Lord Narayana is the shelter of all of that. In this way, he answers, who's the shelter of the universe? It is Narayana. And then coming back to your question, are you the Supreme Personality of Godhead? He says, look, actually Narayana is everything. He creates me. He is the one who inspires me to create the universe. And not only that, Lord I'm just creating what Lord has already created, like how Radhika Mataji brought this point. And he's also Upadishta and Anumanta within me. He's the one who's witnessing everything within me and guides me. So therefore, I just don't say that I am independent. Supreme Lord is guiding me. And there is more foundational difference between me and the Supreme Lord. Actually, the Supreme Lord is the controller of Maya. The Maya controls the 3 gunas for the purpose of creation, maintenance, and destruction. And these 3 gunas are the ones that bind the conditioned soul and controls the conditioned soul. I'm once a jiva who's controlled by the 3 moods. I'm controlled by the 3 moods. The 3 moods are controlled by Maya. And the Maya is controlled by whom? The Maya is controlled by the Supreme Lord. Are you able to understand, dear devotees? This is a very beautiful point that our Brahmaji is bringing about. Saying the jiva is bound by 3 moods, okay? And I am controlled by the 3 moods. The 3 moods are controlled by Maya. And Maya is controlled by whom? Maya is controlled by the Supreme Lord. So imagine the prowess of the Supreme Lord. Imagine how powerful he is. So how can you equate me, an ordinary living entity, with that of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna? Then if the Supreme Lord is the controller of everyone and everything, why is he not explicitly visible? Why is he not seen? One may have this question, right? Why is he not seen? If he is the controller, then why is he not seen? For that, Brahmaji is saying, you know what? As I told you, people are covered by these 3 modes. Covered by the 3 modes. People are not able to see. This is what he establishes as a difference between Brahma and the Supreme Lord Narayana. And then he starts answering the 3rd question, which was asked by Narada Muni. How was the universe created? So there, I know you probably have all seen this particular thing. So there he says, when Karno Daksha Vishnu, when it was time for creation, he desired to become many. So we understand that his desire to become many means it is time for creation. And the living entities who were residing in his body, they were going to be released into this Prakriti through his glance. That is what it means. So these are not the new souls that we are talking about. New souls are never created, and there is no loss of souls also. There is no creation of new souls, there is no loss of new souls. So this is not at all true, okay? If you were to think new souls or no. He says, Lord glances the Prakriti, and through his glance, the 3 elements, Kala, Karma, and Swabhava. Karma and Swabhava means you have to have the carrier of Karma and Swabhava, that is the Jiva. So there is Jiva Shakti and Kala Shakti, by which the Lord glances at Prakriti. And the glance has two elements, that is Kala Shakti and Jiva Shakti. And this karma and swabhava belonging to the jiva. The karma talks about what the jiva deserves. Swabhava indicates what the jiva desires. Are you able to understand this point, dear devotees? You are able to understand? So, the Lord, he glances at Prakriti, and the glance has Kala, Karma, and Swabhava, right? Karma and Swabhava means you have to have a carrier of Karma and you have to have a carrier of Swabhava, that is the Jiva. So Jiva Shakti and Kala Shakti, which the Lord has by his glance, he glances with that at Prakriti. And this glance has, that's what is the two elements that we talked about, Kala Shakti and Jiva Shakti. And this karma and swabhava, it belongs to the jiva, and karma is what the jiva deserves. Because of your karma, you had this, you had this. And swabhava indicates what the jiva desires. This is my swabhava. So Karnodaksha's glance has three elements, kala, karma, and swabhava. When the glance falls on this pradhan, the modes are inactive there. And when the glance is happening, at that time, what happens? This pradhan transforms into Mahatattva. Okay. So, and then after that, Mahatattva transforms into Ahankar, and Ahankar has three parts, Satvika Ahankar, Rajasika Ahankar, Tamasika Ahankar. When Karanodaksha's glance falls on Satvika Ahankar, it manifests mind and sense devatas. When the Karanodaksha's, the Karanodaksha's glance falls on Rajasika Ahankar, it manifests intelligence, pranas in the 10 senses. And when it falls on the Tamasika Ahankar, it manifests the 5 elements and 5 tanmatras. Okay. So, at the end, what is happening here is that the Kala Shakti agitates the 3 gunas. And after that agitation, that is when, when Pradhan is, when there is no glance, till then it is in an inactive stage. But when there is a glance, the Pradhan transforms into Mahatattva and Mahatattva transforms into Ahankar. This is the point. The gunas are agitated from a state of equilibrium by time. They are transformed into another form of Swabhava. The Mahatattva appears and then it is all under the direction of the Supreme Lord. What does it mean? It's all by the glance of the Supreme Lord. This agitation of the gunas happen. Now, what is Prakriti? What do you mean when Kala Shakti acts on Prakriti? How does the Swabhava actually interact with Prakriti? How the karma transforms this Prakriti into Mahatattva? This is all totally inconceivable, dear devotees. Further details neither Bhagavatam mentions nor the Acharyas are able to elaborate upon this. Okay. Maybe some other Shastras are there that describes about the details that are mentioned in it. What exactly is happening here? Definitely, it's quite inconceivable for people on earth. It's difficult to conceive. But something like this is happening. There is a system which is functioning. This gives us a confidence. There is a robot system that is functioning in the background, even though we may not understand. But at least we are able to, we may not understand how the system works, but we can understand there is a robot system that is operated by the Lord and is performing well. And it's only by his glance, the whole process is getting started. Without his glance, nothing is going to operate. Okay. So this much you have to understand, because again, as I told you, these things are not conceived. We cannot feel it. It's not like a story where we can feel the emotions or feel something. But we just have to understand the way that is the subject matter that is given to us. So again, at least to me, it is inconceivable, but we will try our best. So from the transformation called Mahatattva, which is predominated by Rajas and Tamas, we see what is called Ahankar that arises. So, the glance of Mahavishnu falls on Mahatattva, and the Mahatattva, which is predominated by Rajas and Tamas, is transformed into Ahankar. And this Ahankar is predominated by Tamas. Mahatattva, even though Mahatattva is predominated by Rajas and Sattva, it still has a portion of Tamas. These three cannot be separated, dear devotees. They can be in lower or higher quantity, but all three has to be there. A person can't be like purely Sattva good. No, he has to have a bit of Rajas and bit of Tamas also, because these modes can be separated. So even though Ahankar is predominated by Tamas, it still has the element of Sattva and Rajas. This is how Sattva Guni Ahankar, Rajoguni Ahankar, and Tamoguni Ahankar comes into place. And this creates Adibhuta, Adideva, and Adhyatma. Adibhuta is nothing but the gross body, Adhyatma is the subtle body, and Adidevata is the Devatas that are controlling the senses. Devatas who control the senses. So, as you all can understand, Mahatattva, which has the predominance of Rajas and Sattva, which is produced by time, Swabhava, and Karma, it produces a substance predominated by Tamas. That is when Ahankar arises. And then these Ahankars are divided into the three, Sattvika, Rajasika, and Tamasika Ahankar. As we all can understand, Sattva Guna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna, based on this, the Ahankar transforms into three types: Sattva Guna Ahankar, Rajaguni Ahankar, Tamoguni Ahankar. And this also, I mean, when you look at this, the Ahankars, goodness, passion, and ignorance, they are also called as Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, and Dravya Shakti. Jnana Shakti, which is the mode of goodness, Ahankar, and the Kriya Shakti, mode of passion, and then Dravya Shakti, which is the mode of ignorance. Again, what is this Jnana Shakti? What is this Kriya Shakti? And what is Dravya Shakti? So now, this Dravya Shakti, I mean, if you look at the three, the Dravya Shakti, Kala Shakti, and Dravya Shakti, Jnana Shakti, and Kriya Shakti. So what is happening here is that the Jnana Shakti is derived from Sattva Gun, and Kriya Shakti is derived from Rajogun, and Dravya Shakti is derived from Tamogun. And Dravya Shakti has the capacity to produce the 5 gross elements. Okay, Dravya Shakti, which is the 5 tanmatras and the 5 elements. That is the mode of ignorance. And then the passion, the Kriya Shakti, it produces the Kriya Shakti produces the senses. And then the Jnana Shakti produces the sense devatas. So this is what happens, dear devotees. So the Ahankar is predominantly in Tamas, but still, as I told you, the modes can be separated. We just have goodness, passion, and ignorance. And based on this, we have this Dravya Shakti, Dravya Shakti, Jnana Shakti, and Kriya Shakti. So what gives the Jnana Shakti gives rise to mind and the sense devatas. And then the Kriya Shakti gives rise to the prana, 10 senses, and the intelligence. And Dravya Shakti gives rise to the 5 tanmatras and the 5 elements. Now, so this is all due to the false ego in the mode of ignorance. And if you look at the 24th verse, Ahankar then transforms into, if you look at the Ahankar, we saw that Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, and Dravya Shakti. And Jnana Shakti means sense devatas, right? See, the eyes is control. The power that why we are able to see the eyes is due to the sense devata, Surya. Due to his mercy only we are able to see. If we are not able to see, that means the sense devata is controlling us by not being able to see. Nose is controlled by Ashwini Kumaras. The ears are controlled by, the sense of taste is controlled by Varuna. Like that, each devatas are responsible for controlling each of the sense organs that we have. And Because of this, one is able to speak, one is able to smell, one is able to see. All right, dear devotees, this is very important. The sense of speech is controlled by Agni. Each devatas are responsible for some universal management. And they are all manifestations of Brahmaji's creation, right? That's what we are seeing, how each of them are created. Again, the elemental raw materials is given by the Supreme Lord Vasudeva, which is already told by Brahmaji to Narada. See, these elements are coming from him. That is why we have to take shelter of him. And all this creation is happening due to his mercy. The Lord's glance is responsible for agitation of the modes, because of which we have Mahatattva and Mahatattva to Ahankar and so on and so forth. So Lord's role is very important. If the Lord doesn't glance, then the action of creation is not going to take place. So then he's saying Sattva Guna, Rajaguna and Tamaguna and Dravya Shakti, Jnana Shakti and Kriya Shakti. So we saw Dravya Shakti has the capacity to produce the 5 gross elements. Dravya means matter. The Kriya Shakti has the capacity to produce the senses. And Jnana Shakti, the sense devatas. Oh Narada, oh Prabhu, you know all of this. I know you know all these aspects of creation. I'm just telling you so others can benefit. That's what Brahmaji is telling Narada. So the state of equilibrium is the pradhan, and the agitation of time, the predominance of sattva produces mahatattva. Again, mahatattva is predominant, sattva is there. And then after that, we have from the mahatattva, we have ahankar that comes in three different ways. Okay, so this is what he's explaining Narada Muni. And he's telling Narada Muni, oh, you know all of this. I'm just telling you just so the others can get benefited. Okay. And now, after this, after mentioning all of this, he's telling, see, I'm also going to talk to you about what happens after this. Meaning, from the darkness of false ego, first of the 5 elements, namely, I'm going to talk about different elements now. See, we talked about senses and who are the sense devatas. So you understand that each of the senses are controlled by the sense devatas. And now I'm going to talk about the 5 tanmatras and the 5 elements. That also you need to understand. Like that, Narada Muni is telling Brahmaji. So how he's telling here is that, as far as if you see the elements in the tanmatras, we need to understand this visually, dear devotees. Meaning, so we have sound, and from sound comes ether, like that. So we have to understand this. Say, for example, just like manifestation of big buildings. The building has building blocks. The building is the grossest. It has bricks, it has mortar, and other things that are subtler and subtler. So the sand has silica molecules, which is even subtler. The silica has silicon and oxygen, which is even more subtler. So if you look at it, there is atoms, molecules, then sand, then brick, and then building. So from subtle to gross. So first the subtler things manifest, and from the subtler things, the grosser things manifest, which is what is the concept in the creation also. So similarly, in the creation also, we will see that the subtler things manifest first and then the grosser. So how exactly is happening? It is not explained. But this is what is happening is explained. So meaning, now if you see the tanmatra is considered to be subtler than the element, which means sound is subtler than ether. Touch is subtler than air. Form is subtler than fire. Taste is subtler than water. Smell is subtler than earth. So what we are seeing here is that tanmatra is considered to be subtler than the element itself. So therefore, when the Lord glances, when Lord a glance of Karnodaksha Vishnu falls on tamasic ahankar, the first thing that gets formed is sound, because that is the subtlest. And further sound transforms into ether. And then the ether transforms into touch. Touch transforms into air. Air transforms into form. Form then transforms into fire. And fire transforms to taste. And taste to water. And water transforms to smell. And smell transforms to earth. So in this way, the manifestation, as you can see, is from the subtlest to the grossest. Why? Since the tanmatra is considered to be subtler than the element. The whole creation starts with the manifestation of the sound because sound is subtler than ether. This is the concept that is being described. But we are not understanding the nitty-gritty to it. All we are trying to say is from subtler to the gross is what that is what is the sequence of steps that happens. Like how, as I told you, example of big buildings, the buildings has big blocks. The building is the grossest. It has subtler things, right? Subtler elements. The sand has silica molecules, which are very, very subtle. And the silica has some of the molecules like silica and oxygen are there. And then the final thing is the brick, the building. But what happens is subtler things manifest first, and from that gross thing manifests later. So this is what is the manifestation that is happening from subtlest to the grossest. And you have to note this point, tanmatra is subtler than the element itself, which is what is the concept that is being described. Then, from the darkness of false ego, I know this is kind of very, I don't know if you all felt it that way in each and every class that you've been attending in the past. This is very technical. I understand, dear devotees, but the nuances of technicality are not explained. Meaning, we just have an outline of what happens. But why it happens, the way it happens, that is not clarified. Okay. So when we have questions, we just have to pray to the Lord. But as we understand, the question why it is posed, because Nad Muni has this question, again, it is posed for the benefit of others. And why are we understanding the creation of universe? To understand Lord's supremacy. Because his glance is responsible for the creation. The raw materials that we get for the process of creation is given by Krishna. So everything, he is the shelter. Okay, so this working mechanism is so robust that there is no fault there. It just happens by the blinking of his eye. So we need to understand all this to understand Krishna is supreme. As long as we are able to get that, then it's good enough, dear devotees. And Kala Shakti is the one which is responsible for triggering Kala Shakti of Mahavishnu. Without that, nothing is going to happen. And when it comes to these the sense devatas, we know the sense devatas are controlling our senses. Imagine Krishna who is controlling them. That's the point. We are always tying it back to Krishna to see the sense devatas are able to control our senses. Who is controlling those sense devatas? It's Krishna. So we are tying everything in the process of creation back to Krishna to understand his supremacy. All right. Now, as you all can understand, we understood the subtlest to the grossest, right? That's something that we discussed now. And now, he also brings up a point to say that, one concept that he brings about, Shabda Brahman. Right now, we are discussing the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and we'll be discussing about Srila Prabhupada's purports also. Both of them are not here right now. At least in a manifest form, both of them are not there. But we are still reading it. This is Shabda. Shabda represents two things. Objects unseen, object in the past, and the sound can also represent the objects in the present. Say, for example, my father and mother are in my next room, and they are speaking to each other while seeing each other. So what we can hear, while they can hear the sound of me, whom they cannot see right now, but they can hear the sound of each other while they are seeing each other. So sound represents objects unseen. Sound represents objects that are seen. You're able to understand, right? So that's what is sound. So the first thing that is created from Tamas Ahankar through the glance of Karnatakshay Vishnu, and from the sound, ether is created, and so on and so forth. So he describes the details of Ahankar, and he describes that what is this, what is that, Tamsik Ahankar, Rajasik Ahankar, and all of that. And then he talks about the manifestation of the sound. So the first Tanmatra is created, and then the element is created. Because Tanmatra is subtler than the element. Sound, from sound, ether is produced. And from ether, touch is produced. From touch, air is produced, like that. So this is what he explains. And then he brings about, so from the sense of touch and comes air. Because touch, Tanmatra, is subtler than the element air itself. Touch is manifested first, and then air is manifested. So air holds the previous quality of the sound also. This is what he says. So now you see, ether has only sound. Air has sound and touch. You can experience the gentle, see, when wind blows, the gentle touch of the touch of a gentle breeze, it touches your body. You can feel the sense of touch, right? At the same time, the air also creates the sound. You know, when you play a flute, you can whistle. And when the breeze blows, harder the breeze blows, then you know you can hear the sound also. This way, what I'm trying to tell dear devotees is the air has the previous quality also with it, the sound and the touch. Like that, we have to see each and everything. Now the third is fire. So the air has, as I told you, touch and sound. And the fire has sound plus touch, but it also has form. That is the distinguishing quality of the fire. And now you can see fire definitely has a form, but the fire also has a sense of touch. If you touch the fire, it will burn you. You can easily experience a sense of touch with the fire. The fire also has sound, meaning when the fire is blazing, the sound becomes heard. This is what Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura clarifies, saying that, see, say for example, ether has the quality of sound, but air has the quality of sound and touch. The fire has the quality of sound, touch, and form. Now, the next grocery element is water. The water has sound. You can hear the water is flowing. You can hear the flow of water. So water definitely has a sense of touch. You can definitely sense the form. You can see the water. But the distinguishing quality of water is what? Taste. It also has taste. Now the earth has sound. When you strike the earth, when you strike the table or something, you can hear the sound of the table, isn't it? There is sound. And then there is sense of touch. You can feel it. And then there is the sense of form. You can see some form of a table. Earth has taste, different taste. You buy, there is different taste to the elements present in the earth, like chili has a particular taste, sugar has a particular taste, and so on and so forth. So, this is what is being clarified here. The smell, again, the cow dung smell is different, and the smell of something else is different. LPG fire has a certain smell, but the fire is not due to the smell of fire, right? The smell is not due to the smell of the fire. It is due to, say, for example, in the LPG, it is due to the presence of ethyl methicarbamate. So smell is an exclusive function of earth, which is the point that our acharyas are trying to clarify. So now we understood that the previous qualities are also carried forward as far as these elements go. Now, ether, it doesn't have the sense of touch, but it only has the sense of sound. There is just sound in it, that's all. Air has sound, fire has sound, water has sound, earth has sound. Like that. Because the previous qualities are carried over, but each of them, they have their unique quality also. So now, air is the cause of prana. The air is the main element in prana. It is the cause of the prana. It gives strength to the senses, mind, and body. So the prana shakti, if you look at it, is very powerful. One develops the sensual strength, physical strength, and mental strength because of the prana shakti. So from sound, ether, I mean, all this is being clarified. Then he talks about prana, and then he talks about how this prana is very important because the strength, the mental strength, the physical strength, the ojas is controlled by prana. And prana is the cause of these things. So under the influence of time, karma, kala, swabhava, which happened by the glance of the Supreme Lord, so because of the time, there is a transformation that happens, agitation that happens, and all these subtler elements are transformed to grosser elements. The transformation happens in this way. The subtler aspect is seen, and then the grosser aspect is later seen. Okay, this is what our acharyas are explaining through their purports to help us understand how the subtlest and then how the gross and what are the qualities it has, and how they are transformed by the Lord, Supreme Lord's glancing. This is this is what is elaborately being spoken about. From the ahankara in the sattva arose the mind and the presiding deities, that is Vayu, Ashwini Kumaras. Here it is explained. For the sense organ ear, the Adhishtan Devata is Dig Devatas who control the ear. For eyes, it is Surya. For the skin, it is Vayu. For the nose, it is Ashwini Kumaras. For the tongue, it is Varuna. For the hands, it is Indra. For the feet, it is Upendra. For the voice, it is Agni. For the anus, it's Mitra. For the genitals, it is Prajapati. Which is what is spoken up to verse number 30, dear devotees. Now, after 31, I think probably 32 to 35, it talks about Karya Shakti. So that we will see in the next class, hopefully. But this is what is the gist of at least Karana Shrishti. Okay. I think we will see that in the next class, because if I go through now, I don't know where it's going to end into. But as you all can understand, if you ask what are the senses are ear, skin, nose, eye, and tongue. The Jnanendriyas, what are they? They are the voice, hands, feet, anus, and the penis. The 5 Karmendriyas. Then if the pranas become weak, then with the Jnanendriyas also they are affected. Say for example, why we are not able to speak when we are not feeling hungry. You feel hungry, then you cannot speak much, right? So this is what happens because the prana is weak, because of which Jnanendriyas don't function the way that they need to. They just become, you're not able to lift anything, we are not able to do much activities because our prana has become weak. And prana comes from anna. The prana shakti comes from anna. If there is no anna, then prana shakti becomes weak. Therefore, when we are hungry, we cannot use our jnanendriyas to the extent that we want. We just say, oh, let me just keep quiet. Let me not talk. Let me not lift things. Let me not agitate, and let me not, bother. So this is kind of what is being explained so far, dear devotees. This is all Karana Shrishti. That's the manifestation of the raw materials that are needed for creation. Now we have all the raw materials that we have. All we have to do is combine that to make it a functional universe, which is what is Karya Shrishti. So Karana Shrishti is nothing but the creation of the raw materials, and from the raw materials, we'll have a fully functional universe, which is what is Karya Shrishti. There is so much more to explain, but yeah, we will stop here and then we will see how far we can go in the next class. Okay, so I don't know if the power has gone, Mataji. You're very dark. I'm not able to. Hopefully, you're not.
It's becoming evening, so I'll go and switch on the light. Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay, makes perfect sense.
Are there any questions or comments? Mataji, I have a question. So you
Sure.
said that the number of souls are the same. No one is created and no one is destroyed. Those are the same. But the non-living things, they don't have soul. now I'm thinking, I really like this example of the subtler becoming the gross. So subtler is the sand, the atoms and the molecules, and then sand, and then building. So, but these are material things, and they don't definitely have a soul. The soul has to be injected in the material thing to make it whatever, human or an insect or whatever. So non-living things don't have a soul, but they have atoms and molecules. Yeah.
So, so the thing is, Mataji, everything is driven by Paramatma. Everything, the reason why I'm talking is because I have Atma and Paramatma within me, which is why these inert are acting. Even water, you may think, oh, but the taste of water is due to Lord Krishna. So it is the Paramatma that is enabling to give the quality to that particular non-living entity. So without that, nothing can function. It cannot have a quality or a characteristic without the presence of Paramatma in it.
So then this table and chair and everything, do they have Paramatma in it or not?
So the thing is, it has the characteristic of certain object. It's due to the presence of Paramatma, Mataji. So water has taste or air has its quality due to the nature of, due to the Paramatma. Whether, I mean, that's what is enabling each and every object to have its characteristic with regards to non-living entities. So because they don't have a soul, they can, if you can hit them many times, they don't have anything to respond to you. But the characteristic of that particular object is due to Paramatma in them. If there is a quality or if there is certain aspect in that object, it's due to Paramatma's way of creating that object. That's what we need to understand. Without that, water will not have the taste. That's why you remember Krishna even in any object you see. Why? Because he got that characteristic to that object, because of which we see Krishna in everything and every entity for that matter. The raw materials are nothing but him. It is his creation. And the life comes to it when an Atma goes inside it. That object is given life when an Atma gets into it. That's how even an inert object, inert raw material can become object. I mean, can become, what do you call it, a fully functional object if Atma is and Paramatma enter.
But Paramatma is already there. So only if Atma enters, then they become living.
Correct.
Okay. And Mataji, just a clarification, it might sound like as if the whole Ramayana is done and then I'm asking who's Ram and Sita. This ahankar that has been produced by Mahatattva, is it the same as this false ego? Because sometimes we
Yes, the ahankar is predominantly in the mode of tamas. It is the false ego, which the false ego in the mode of goodness is satvika ahankar. False ego in the mode of rajas is tamasika ahankar. False ego in the mode of tamas is tamasika ahankar. What it means is this ahankar has predominantly tamas only. But when there is a portion of sattva, then it becomes satvika ahankar. So, but it's predominantly in tamas. And when tamas is really, really high, then in that case it is tamsika ahankar. But it is mode of tamas only to start off. As I told you, modes can't be separated. They have to. It's just a question of, if he's a sattvic person, there's just that tamas is not so much predominant in him because the sattva is trying to dominate a little bit more in him. But definitely tamas is there, definitely rajas is there.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
Sure.
Any more comments or questions?
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you. So nice class as usual. So deep explanation. Mataji, I have a question.
Sure.
So, what is the position of Lord Shiva in the creation process?
So, Shiva, in the mode of creation processes, he is the one who's at the end of the creation, we need a destructive element, right? And that's when Rudra dances and the whole universe, I mean, the creation, destruction part of it is taken over by Shiva. So when Mahavishnu's part of creation is over, at the end, we come into the process of destruction. At that time, Shiva plays a role to help with the destruction, and where all the living entities go into the body of Karnodaksha Vishnu. And once again, after Mahavishnu's glance, the creation process starts. So when it comes for destruction, it's Shiva who will come into play and help tackle the destruction process, and then all the living entities enter then into the body of Karnodaksha Vishnu, and then after that, again, Mahavishnu glances, then creation starts, and then this process rolls over.
So, Mataji, I'm asking about during the creation. During the creation, he has a role, I think. And I don't know, I read it somewhere.
Oh,
that,
okay.
That because...
Oh, during creation. Okay.
Yes, yes, that's what I said. So what happens is when Mahavishnu opens his eyes, that glance turned into Lord Shiva, because he, Mahavishnu cannot impregnate Pradhana, Mother Nature, which is inert. So because she's a consort of Lord Shiva, so the glance turned into Lord Shiva, and then Mother Nature is impregnated. Then she becomes Prakriti. I don't know if I'm right.
I think I'll clarify that in next class, Mataji. I know what you're talking about. I'll definitely get that terminology straight and clarify it in the next class. Remind me for sure. Yeah, I've heard that, Mataji. So for sure, today I just went through whatever report of Krishna Chakravarti Thakura is there, but I will definitely clarify this Shambhu Tattva and how we'll do that in the next class for sure.
Yes, please.
Sure,
Thank you. And please, can you tell me the English word of Tanmatra? What is the English word of Tanmatra?
So, the sense objects.
Okay.
Sense,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Sure.
Hare Krishna. So yes, we will come back to this.
We'll come back.
What part does Lord Shiva plays? Because it's kind of logic. Lord Vishnu cannot impregnate Mother Durga, who is a Prakriti, who is Mother Nature.
I get you. Yep.
Yes. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Sure. I'll definitely get back on that.
Thank you.
Okay, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, we have exhausted our time and we should let Mataji resume back to work. But I'll request Arya Govind Prabhu kindly just in just 1 minute and end the session, Prabhu, if you can, please. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji, for this wonderful explanation of really a complex matter. I mean, of all the creation and all the different aspects of creation. Although it's complex matter, you've explained it very nicely. Thank you so much, Mataji. I request all the devotees to unmute and then chant Hare Krishna Mantra once in glorification of Her Grace Radhika Kasturi Mataji. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama, Hare
Hare. Vancha
Kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Kuntrashman Bhagavatam ki jai.
All glories to visible devotees, all glories to Lord Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. See you all soon next time.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, next Tuesday?
Next Tuesday, yes.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.